Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Today I'm having a chat with one of my lovely Reflux Revolution practitioners, Lisa McPherson. So she's part of the Digestion with Confidence movement and she's working very heavily in the digestion space, working with lots of patients with reflux, with PPI medication, helping them to support their reflux alongside and even how to help them come off their PPI medication when appropriate. So I thought it'd be really nice for a change for you to listen to somebody other than just me. So before we get started and talking about the nitty-gritty of how Lisa's helping patients, I just wonder, Lisa, if you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and how you found your way into nutrition.
Yes, hi Debbie, thank you for having me on here. So I have 4 children, and my career really started because of trying to help my son, who basically went off food when he was about 2. And we were living in Dubai, and after weaning, he just ate less and less and less. So I was flying as cabin crew at the time, and finding it really hard to leave my child when he was struggling to eat. So I started looking at nutrition as a career, and living in Dubai, I was searching out all the experts that came to Dubai to try and work out how to help him, because I was struggling to help him. So I met Dr. Natasha Campbell-McBride, who focuses on the GAP diet and gut health, and I met Patrick Holford. So that was kind of my introduction to gut health and the impact that could have on your health.
Excellent. So tell me a little bit about your practice. Who do you work with generally? Are you online or are you in person or a combination?
That has changed actually over time. So I set up my practice during COVID time, so it was 100% online. And now I'm finding more and more people are searching their symptoms and local. I've really reversed my business, and it's probably 90% in person now and only 10% online.
Oh, okay, no problem. And we'll, at the end of the discussion, we'll share how people can find out how to work with you, so that they can, if they like what they hear, they can get in touch. So you've obviously been part of my Digestion with Confidence movement pretty much since the start, Lisa. I think, were you one of the early adopters? I'm sure you were. And I know over the last 2 years we've had some amazing successes, but you've come to talk about one person in particular. Would you like to sort of talk a little bit more about the case and how you've helped that person?
Yeah, absolutely. I deal with digestive health in general. So, and I have a special interest in food intolerances. So, when I start chatting to people, a lot of them think the food is the problem. But as we know, in what we do, digestion is often the problem. And one of the first questions I'm asking is, are you taking a PPI medication like lansoprazole? Because I'm always looking out for that as an underlying cause. So I'd had this inquiry from this gentleman who seemed to be having trouble with different foods, digesting them, and been on PPIs, I think, since the 1990s, off and on. And the doctor had actually said to him, I think you need to start coming off the PPIs. So he'd already had that from his GP. So when he came to me, that was already good that we had that in place. As we know, we can't ask people to come off medication unless their doctors say that's okay, because some people need to take it lifelong. So the thing that struck me most was he had severe pain in his abdomen, like 10 out of 10 pain, rolling around on the floor, he described it. And that, I wanted to address straight away. How can we, get that under control? So by session 2, we'd implemented some changes. Just one example was cutting out alcohol, because he'd just come back from holiday, and I think he put ketchup on everything. So we're looking at the kind of triggers like the tomatoes. So just by implementing 2 small changes and starting to put in some supplementation, by the second session, his pain had gone down to 2 out of 10, and it only improved from there. So I found that, quite impactful for me and for him.
Yeah, that's huge, isn't it? I mean, to take somebody from a 10 out of 10 to a 2 out of 10 is
Yeah.
life changing, isn't it? Because being in pain all that time and not knowing what you can eat and just knowing that when you eat food it's going to cause you a problem is just soul destroying, isn't it? It's just that
Yeah.
day in, day out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think people tend to gravitate toward food triggers, and yes, there are those, but lifestyle as well. Because with his job, it was shift work, it was eating on the run, just years of that really. So just kind of unpacking the lifestyle and what we need to put in as well to help him manage that. That really kind of was the cherry on the icing, to kind of go from a 2 out of 10 to a 0 out of 10, no pain, and know what triggers made the symptoms come back. And I've been in touch with that client since, and still 0 out of 10 pain. And if he has any pain, he knows why and he knows how to manage it.
That's really important, isn't it? Because I know with you working in that food intolerance space,
Yeah.
a lot of people get hung up around food intolerance testing and what food is it that's causing me the problem. But you and I both know that if you're not digesting your food appropriately and you're not breaking that food down, then what that means is that those partially digested proteins get across the gut wall and into the bloodstream, and then the immune system is sort of saying, well, hang on, this isn't right, and it starts to attack it. So it's, for me, when somebody's got severe digestive issues, it's less about the food and more about the digestive process. And as you and I both know, if you're taking a PPI, that's massively affecting the body's ability to break those foods down and is greatly increasing that intolerance type reaction, when actually what we're seeing is a lack of digestive capacity, aren't we? And then if we couple that with eating on the run, stress, not chewing, then that has a massive impact as well, doesn't it? And I think what's really nice for me, and I'm sure you'll agree, is that just the simple diet and lifestyle changes can literally change somebody's picture overnight. And I think the power of that is huge, isn't it? It's not about throwing supplements at somebody and having lots and lots of different pills and taking digestive enzymes and binders and various other bits and pieces. It really is about those basics, isn't it? About getting that digestive process back working.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I think people greatly underestimate the impact of stress on digestion. I think that's huge. People are eating their lunch in their car, they're scrolling on phones, they're not really concentrating on what they're eating. There really are so many simple things that they can change, that just make a massive difference, life-changing.
Absolutely, and I'm sure, I know you've worked with quite a few patients now within this sort of reflux space, and I'm sure you've seen what I have, where when you talk to somebody about the importance of just slowing down and disconnecting and chewing the food, they almost look at you as if to say, is this what I've paid you for? What you've just come to tell me that I need to go and sit in my car or walk away from my desk. And sometimes patients can be a little bit put out by that, thinking I've come for this massive sort of light bulb moment and you're just telling me I need to chew my food more. Do you find that with patients until they get on board with the process?
Definitely. I think, when you speak to someone and they're thinking, well, I don't want to do that, that's where the coaching comes in handy, because a lot of things we do are habits and they are hard to change. So that's where you need really, or you benefit from some support, because without changing those things, it's hard to get results and it's hard to get sustained results. We're not just giving information in what we do, we're helping people to actually implement the changes into their daily life. And that's really hard without help.
Absolutely. And I think when you get such a dramatic result like that between appointment 1 and appointment 2, for me, I think that's when you've got the person on board, isn't it? Because you absolutely know that if that simple change has made such a big difference, that there's actually light at the end of the tunnel, and you've got that commitment to then try and build on that and get better, haven't you? And I think that's a big part of that. So if you had to tell people watching and listening one thing that you would give as a recommendation, what would that be? What's your one top tip?
Gosh, one top tip, I think, would just, like you said, to slow down and actually concentrate on food, because as we know, Debbie, digestion starts before you even put food in your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So really just, enjoy the cooking process, smell the smell, take time, sit down at a table, just enjoy your actual meal, take it in, use your senses, because even just doing that can make a difference. Put the phones down, just enjoy your meal with your family, make it a pleasure rather than just something to get done.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's really, really important, isn't it? It's that digestion does start in the brain, and 20% of our digestive capacity comes from that anticipation of food. And of course, it's really easy these days to walk in McDonald's, Pret, KFC, any of the food outlets, and literally pick something up off the shelf. And before we've even thought about it, we've inhaled it and we've carried on with our day. And I think once people realise that that's sort of undoing their digestive system and the process, that can make a real big difference. Because I think, we've lost the art of connecting with our food when, years ago, there wasn't such a thing as, fast food just wasn't available, was it? You had to make your food. And I think the availability of food has made a massive impact on people's digestive capacity, because the body's just not prepared for the speed at which we can actually access something and start to chew.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
That's amazing. So if people want to work with you, Lisa, have you got your website details that they can get in touch?
Yeah, sure. So my website is lisamcphersonnutrition.co.uk. So you can contact me, via the website.
Excellent. I really do recommend Lisa as a practitioner. Of course, I trained her, so I will. But she's really got that understanding of the digestive process, but the ability to coach and cajole patients to make the changes and to be supportive and not judgmental. So if you are struggling, then please do reach out to Lisa. I'm sure she'll be happy to help. And if you're living somewhere else and you want in person, then you can check out the Digestion with Confidence website as well. And I'll put the link to that in the comment section so that you can access that. But if you've enjoyed this video, then please do make sure that you click to subscribe to the channel so that you'll get notifications when we upload some more of these. Some of them will be conversations like we've just had with Lisa, and others will just be listening to me droning on, but that's fine. I'm sure there'll be some benefit from all of those videos. So I'd love to see you stay with me. If you've enjoyed this, do pop a comment in the comment section.